So I think I've touched on this before, but out of all the places on the internet to consume bad fanfiction, Wattpad is my favorite. It's wildly popular with tween girls in that intersection of age and interest demographics where they feel the least shame. So obviously this results in a lot of bizarre stories. You can say to yourself, I wonder if there's any Josh Hutcherson fanfic, and there's a story for that. I wonder if I could find a fanfic about falling in love with Nick Jonas, specifically at the point in his career when he had left the Jonas Brothers and was starring in How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying on Broadway. And there's a story for that. Or you can say, I wonder if there's a story about falling in love with the various members of One Direction, specifically within the universe of the Purge horror franchise. And there are so many stories for that. This one is just called Purge, One Direction, by Bedstand. One last reminder, all emergency services will be suspended for a 12-hour period during the Purge. The streets are filled with people trying to kill one another. Nobody can stop what they're doing. It was what always happened on the annual day of the Purge. Author's note, okay, I can't wait to start this. Like, you don't understand, okay? I hope you'll enjoy the story because I'll enjoy writing it, XX. And that is literally all she wrote, and the story was never updated again. Doing really well so far. Let's keep going. Their Purge, One Direction alternate universe. 9 p.m. on the dot. Another show had ended. Each boy had sipped their individual waters and they'd gathered backstage for yet another meeting with their management. No one could deny that they hated their management. They didn't get to make their own plans or their own dates. They didn't even get to plan when they'd get a break from their tiring schedule. It was like they were chained down by the ankles and being pulled along like puppets. Playing a game. Wow, we got 3 metaphors for that sentence. Of course, they couldn't speak out about it though. They'd lose everything. I hate this, Liam muttered under his breath. The fans liked to call him Daddy Direction, but of course management didn't like that either. Neither do I. Hello boys, a woman addressed them. She was the deputy head of their management. She was the one who organized photographers and plans for the boys. They despised her most. You three, she pointed her pen at Lewis, Niall, and Harry. Stop giving fans something to buzz about online. It creates rumors and lowers your reputation. Also, those wrestling matches you have on stage, stop those too. You're always out of breath and wheezy afterwards. Doesn't sound good. I'm gonna sound really mean, but her suggestions all sound kind of reasonable so far. She had a grimace on her face. Liam looked as if he wanted to punch the look straight off her lips. Is this story going to culminate in the boys of One Direction punching a woman in the face? After she walked out, Liam had both fists balled up. His heart was racing. I'm sick and tired of being controlled. I'm sick of being treated like a wild animal. We need to do something. Something big. Something no one would expect. And I know exactly what we can do. I hope it's not running away during the Purge and getting into hijinks. Ever heard of the Purge? Yeah, that's right. The Purge. For 12 hours, all crime, including murder, is legal. Scary to think about, right? Does it give you chills? At any moment, you could be brutally murdered, robbed. You could become a victim of any crime possible. Criminals breaking free and causing havoc. I know what you're thinking. Why would 5 boys who have full hearts do something like that? Well, because the only way to stop management is to get rid of them. I really misread this. Apparently, this is actually a story about One Direction murdering their management team. Chapter 2 is all just them going over their plans. They're going to steal a boat to get away. And Lewis and Harry hold hands, so I think they're in love. I think this is one of those fanfics. Chapter 3, Phase 1 commences. Zayn started speeding up the boat, smirking to himself as the boat sped across the open water. This is awesome, he muttered to himself. It gives you such adrenaline driving the boat, man. Controlling the speed and what it does. I'm having the best day of my life. Zayn shouted the last bit. Okay, this is turning a little whimsical. After a while, they got to the place they they needed to be. Once they got there, there seemed to be what was an array of weapons set across a large table. Everybody had a few weapons on them. Harry was anxiously holding a few guns and a knife that had been sharpened previously. Lewis the same. Zane had a bat alongside a gun and something else that Liam couldn't quite work out. Is it his upcoming single for when he ditches the band? While Niles simply took a gun, a knife, and a sandwich. I'm glad they're working in some humor before they brutally murder all of their employees. Okay, and now they're just going to sleep. I thought they were gonna go out and get everybody this chapter, but that is not what's happening. Chapter 5 is an author's note saying she's busy with exams. Chapter 6, primarily more hand-holding between Lewis and Harry. Ready, lads? Liam asked with a raised eyebrow. He held the door handle. Let's go. And the story was never updated again. Probably for the best, I gotta say. Okay, before we say goodbye to this fic, gonna look at the comments again. I'm just gonna guess that the fans of One Direction are not going to be very sympathetic to the management who's about to be brutally murdered. Yes, 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 I'm so excited for this. Wow. It's honestly really sad that this has most likely happened IRL.